Hi, it's International Gaming Institute's Trivia Tuesday. I'm Michael Green, a UNLV history professor, and I'm trivial. So I have trivia for you. The question was how the Gaming Control Board originated, and believe it or not, it resulted in part from a raid on a brothel. By 1954, the Nevada Tax Commission was doing the bulk of the investigating for gaming licensees. Well, that year, there was a controversy in Las Vegas. There was a brothel called Roxy's. It operated out near the present location of Boulder Highway and Desert Inn, about 4 miles from Main and Fremont. So the area was called 4 Mile. Well, the brothel had been operating, and one night the FBI raided it, and that was followed by the Clark County Sheriff's Department. Today, it's the Metropolitan Police Department that merged from the county sheriff and the city police. In any case, the next day, this was in the papers, and Hank Greenspun of the Las Vegas Sun suggested that Roxy's had been allowed to operate for so long because the ownership was paying off the sheriff, whose name was Glenn Jones. Well, Jones resented this. He also resented a front page story that included a photo of him riding a tricycle. That had been in a Eldorado parade, and people do ride things and sometimes do silly things in public. And the Sun's headline referred to Sheriff Jones doing a little peddling of his own. Well, Jones decided to sue the Sun for libel. He sued for $1 million, to which Greenspun responded by rerunning the photo and saying, here's what $1 million looks like. Newspapers, when they report stories, generally have sources, and Greenspun had a source, but the source, as Greenspun later put it, developed some memory issues and couldn't remember talking to it. So now Jones could prove libel because there wasn't proof against him. The solution to this was that Greenspun had a reporter named Ed Reed. Ed Reed then brought in a private detective. The private detective posed as a mysterious hoodlum who was seeking a gaming license. He got himself a room at the Old El Rancho Vegas. A district attorney and Reed sat in the closet with a recorder, and in the course of things, Jones was caught coming in there, supposedly wanting money to let him be a hoodlum and own a casino. A county commissioner showed up. A couple of attorneys showed up. And the attorneys included a part owner of the Thunderbird Hotel on the Strip. And when the hoodlum said, how do I get a license when I'm a hoodlum? The response was, don't worry about it. You get a front man. After all, Meyer Lansky owns part of the Thunderbird, and he doesn't have a license. Well, this came out when the Sun did the story. The libel suit was dropped. However, it became involved in that year's governor's election. And the incumbent governor, Charles Russell, promised more gaming control if reelected. He was reelected. And at the 1955 legislative session, legislators created, at Russell's behest, the Gaming Control Board, which included 3 members who would oversee investigations and a staff that would do investigating. And now in 2020, the Gaming Control Board is still very much there, reporting to the commission above it. Back then, the Tax Commission, today, the Gaming Commission. And by the way, Roxy's did close, and Jones did not continue as sheriff. The Gaming Control Board continues.